I kept my first ever DVD player I bought. Does it still work after 17 years in the storage? Let's check it out. Don't forget, every key to the video today, there are links in the description below for the best place to get those home cinema products. Make sure you check those out at the end of this video. Hi movie fans, welcome back to my channel. So today we're checking out the first DVD player I ever bought back in 1998. And that was the Sony Dvp-S715. And also bought 4 movies with it. So let's jump in and see what I got. So here we've got the Sony Dvp-S715. This was the first generation DVD player out. I jumped to DVD on the later part of 1998 because I wasn't sure what it was, and I'm still buying a lot of VHS tapes. But when I first bought this absolutely blew me away. So we'll get it unboxed, see what condition it's like after 17 years in storage, and hopefully it'll boot up and we'll try some of the first DVDs I ever bought. Right, so before we look at the player, we'll see what was in the box. We'll have a look in the manual and see what actually came with it. But I remember these were fibre optical lead, and I got this from Home Cinema Choice. I think it was like £20 delivered from Home Cinema Choice. I used to subscribe to that magazine. And then also as a freebie one month, they sent out a SCART lead, gold plate connections, and I got that as well. So obviously I put these away with this player because I was using them with this player. With the player back then, you got a massive remote. I remember this remote. You could jog it forward, jog it back when you're playing your movies, so you could skip forward to the movies and back to certain scenes. So you got all your remote buttons here for your DVD player to use. You could also flick a switch here to control your TV, but you could use that obviously to change channels. And then you had your eject button here, your on button for your DVD player. So looking at the manual that you got with it, which you don't get with most DVD players or Blu Ray players anymore, they're all online. So you've got the manual with instructions on how to connect it all up to your system. So including the box, it tells us here that we would have got a Super VHS cable. I remember that being gold plated. Don't know where that is now. And you would have got your audio video connecting cord. I never used those because I was always SCART lead. So I'd use the SCART lead that I would have had with my VHS player. And then obviously you've got the remote control. You've got a warranty card. It's actually got the date and the price I paid for it. So looking at this, it was actually the November that I bought it. So this player came out late September. And obviously I was going to the Sony shop for around 8 weeks on and off. Really tempted to buy it, never jumped in. And then finally jumped in on the 20th of the 11th, 1998. And this was the serial number for it. And I bought it from the Sony Centre in Merry Hill Shopping Centre. And I paid £599 for it. So it was £600 as I thought it was. So it was quite a lot of money to shell out, but it was definitely worth it back in 1998. So let's have a quick brief look around the player and then we'll get it booted up and see, hopefully it still works after 17 years in storage. This was used for 11 years prior to me packing it away. So just like the Dvp-S715, the 715 had the Sony symbol. You could get this in a champagne gold as well. The on-off button was here. You had a level adjustment and a phono socket. So the story behind this is this little sticker here was an alpha dot. It was a security system that out. We got burgled. I ended up buying this after we got burgled. Luckily they didn't take this player because we're in the verge of moving and it was boxed up, ready to go. But they did take a load of my DVDs and they actually did get caught, so that was pretty cool that the police caught them and I got everything replaced. So this DVD player weighs around 7 kilograms, so it's quite weighty. We'll open it up and have a look inside as well, see how it's fared. But it came with a brushed aluminium front in black, and like I said, you could get the Japanese gold like the 7700. We've got our DVD tray here. On the front, we've got more buttons than on the 7700. So we've got a shuffle, repeat, Dolby noise reduction. I never used that. It used to make the picture blurred. We've got program and clear. So a lot of these were for CD action as well. Over to the right, we've got our open and close for our tray. We got our play button, pause, stop, previous and next. We had title, DVD menu and return. And then obviously we had our same juggle and jog thing that we had on the remote. But this is fared really, really well. You can see the quality of it from what Sony did with the first generation DVD players. So looking around the side, we had vents on the side. I've got a little bit of a damage here, but other than that, there's no real marks on this. And then we'll look at the rear. So looking at the rear, in the UK, it came with a Euro SCART sockets. So the first one was RGB and the second one was a pass-through. So if you got your VHS player, you'd have it connected via this one to run through to your TV. You couldn't run this RGB to a VCR because it would pick up the copy protection. So unlike the 7700, you didn't have the component connection on the back. Everything was gold plated as well, and this was the next model down from the 7700. You didn't get those component connections. What you did get was composite connections. So these were the basic ones you'd have for your VCR. So you'd have your audio left and right, and then your composite connection. You had Super VHS, which was better quality than what you get via composite. Then we got a digital optical lead and a coaxial digital out as well for that MPEG and Dolby Digital audio. This player did not have a DTS compatibility either, so it wouldn't play DTS tracks. And there was a warranty void sticker here. This was removed in '99. I did get this player chipped so I could play Region 1 DVDs. It also came with the same anti-vibration feet as the Dvp-S715 did. You might be wondering what this sticker is here. This was a multi-region mod that I had done in May of 1999, and that was a multi-region mod by Tektronix in Peterborough. Months after I got this, it's just so purely so I could play Region 1 DVDs. Stick around the end and I'll tell you some little secrets on how I got most of my DVDs in the early days. And before we start, let's get this opened up and see what it's like on the inside. Right, so this does look pretty clean on the inside. So I did vacuum use through those vents every day without fail. So obviously there is going to be dust in there. We'll run our finger along and just see if there is any dust on this side. I'm not going to touch any of the boards. But yeah, you can see there's quite a bit of dust in there. Not loads. The boards look pretty clean. They're obviously a little bit dusty. You can see 11 years of use. And that's not too bad because it was vacked for those 11 years every day through the vents. So on this side we've got the power board. Tektronix did chip this as well to make it multi-region. I don't know what they did inside. I took it up to Peterborough. They had it for about an hour and then they chipped it for me. I'm assuming they did something to this on the other side. It's still dusty. I might give this a clean out before I put it back together. This was a great player, worked for 11 years. Really well, really impressed with it. Obviously because it was the next model down from the 7700, there was no copper shielding like you got in the 7700, so you could see what you was paying for with the 7700 compared to the 715. But this was still £600, and that 7700 I think was around £1,200 or £1,000 at the time, and it was sat right next to this. I was drooling over it, but I couldn't afford that. It was absolutely ridiculous. So I went for the 715. So let's get this bad boy back together. We'll check out the menu and then fire up a DVD. Right, so to do the region hack on these, what you do is you get your remote, and if it's region 1, you press region 1, region 2, press region 2, and then you press the power button. This light will flash green and then go back out. So we'll press, because I know it's set to region 1, so press region 2, on, and it flashes, and that should have switched now to region 2. So hopefully she powers on. Powered on. Right, so it's powered on. We're going to go through the on-screen menu first, show you all settings, and then we'll put a DVD in. So this is your on-screen menu, so you can choose whether you wanted it all in English. You only got 3 real easy settings on there. You've got your AV8, so we're going to set that to video purely because we're not using RGB, and we connected it via the video leads because we can't use RGB SCART. And we'll go there, change that to 16.9. This is a 16.9 TV. Everything else, that's your dimmer, so you could dim the display, which would turn that on and off. So you go totally off, no display on the DVD player, or you could just go bright or dark. Just go dark, and you've got parental controls as well. So it's a pretty basic setup in the early DVD players. So you also got track selection, that was set to auto. Surround I've turned off. That's if you've got a surround sound system, so we'll leave that on off. Digital out, so digital out MPEG, so you leave it on PCM or MPEG depending what you were playing it through. We'll go PCM because we're just playing it through the TV. A DRC, I can't remember what that is. So there wasn't much to the menu on this system. It was pretty basic, so press setup to get out of that, and we'll put a DVD in. And let's see if the disc tray opens. And the first movie I ever bought was Godzilla. And because we've switched it to region 2, it should start to spin that disc. If it hadn't switched, it'll come up no disc. And that's firing up. So let's just go through to the menu. Right, so we've got the Godzilla menu up. So what we'll do is we'll turn the volume down so we don't get a copyright strike, and we'll play a few scenes. Right, so just go for a helicopter scene. This is a bit of a dark night scene, but the picture quality on this is pretty reasonable for a DVD. If you think we're jumping up from VHS, it was a massive difference back in the day, and the picture quality on the 715 was really, really good. Obviously this is just playing on an LCD TV. It would run better on a plasma TV. So we just run it on an LCD, and you can see the picture quality is really, really good. So we'll scan forward to the next chapter. So it's pretty quick at selecting chapters. And you can see the colours, everything is just brilliant. I left the Dolby Noise Reduction off. If you switch the Dolby Noise Reduction on, it does make it blurred. If you use the jog button, you can skip forward. So that's just twisting that dial. So you do that on the front of the DVD player or on the remote. So that's skipping forward at the moment. And then if you want to play it, you just press play and it instantaneously starts playing. You can see the picture quality is really good. I mean, this is just going through the video lead. If we were running RGB, the picture would be a lot better. When I get SCART socket to component, I'll update this video and show you how good it played via that, or we could even try it with a component to HDMI. So after 17 years in storage and 11 years of use, that's 28 years old, this DVD player is still running as strong as the day I bought it. So my Sony Dvp-S715, was it worth the £600 back in 98? It was well worth it. I was well impressed. I had a 28-inch widescreen TV back then, and then eventually upgraded to 44-inch Sony rear projection TV. The DVDs I got on day of launch, and I did get these from the Sony shop when I bought my DVD player. So I got Godzilla. It came in a jewel case, which was pretty impressive. They were just like CD cases, and on here you've got a leaflet with a list of all the DVDs that were coming out. I bought Species, another jewel case, great movie, really impressed me. And then, don't judge me, I bought My Best Friend's Wedding with Julia Roberts. Had to get something for the missus at the time, and I bought Outbreak. Fantastic movie. So those were the 4 movies I had over the Christmas period, and then I knew Armageddon was being released in the January, so I did order it and buy it, and I bought it from playdvd.com in Jersey. So anyone in the UK might remember that. If you do, comment down below. I think I paid £20 for this from Play DVD, but I had to wait and get my DVD player made multi-region, and I had to drive all the way to Peterborough to a place called Tektronix. A lot of people in the DVD community might remember that. It was up in Peterborough. You went up there, it was a day turnaround, dropped your DVD player off, waited a couple of hours, and then you get a call and your DVD player was ready to go. It did void your warranty, but that was the risk you took, and to open it up to Region 1 DVDs was fantastic back then, because there was a lot of movies that were coming out on Region 1. They were on the cinema in the UK, and you could watch them first on DVD, and that's basically how I built most of my collection. Another way I did build it, and this was quite sneaky, a lot of people might have done this, a lot of people might not have, but because I bought it in the November and I'd got a lot of VHS tapes, what I did was I used to get the VHS tapes, wind the leader back, and there was about 4 different stores, so there'd be 4 different HMVs in Birmingham City Centre. Go and buy something with HMV, have the HMV bag, pretend I'd lost the receipt. I'd go in with my VHS tape, say, oh, someone bought me this for Christmas and I wanted it on DVD, and they'd swap it over. They'd check the leader, wasn't wound forward on the VHS tape, and they'd swap it straight away with no receipt. So that was a sneaky thing I did. And I did it with about 20 or 30 VHS tapes, going around Birmingham City Centre to an HMV, just finding where I could get it swapped. And it was just a sneaky way of changing my VHS tape to DVDs. Yeah, that was a sneaky thing I did. If you did that yourselves, comment down below. I just found it quite funny how they would change stuff without a receipt, especially after Christmas. And then as time went on, I moved over from Play DVD, found the internet and discovered DVDboxoffice.com and ordered most of our movies from there. And I used to buy them in bulk. So I'd like to thank you all for watching. Keep supporting physical media, and I'll catch you in the next one.